There's the sun and the moon when the sky's looking blue. Light is catching your eye like it's meant to.
Hello, welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I'm Ms. Day. So, the very first thing that I thought as soon as I got ready to do this reading is that whoever I'm talking to, whoever this reading is for, you actually have like, this feels like a period of time that's ongoing, like it's been a while now, but I feel like you have way more anxiety physically in your human, like in your stomach and stuff, way more anxiety than you ever had as a child, like in your youth. I feel like whoever I'm talking to, you're very self-aware. Whew. Oh boy. Okay, so I feel like the overall feeling I'm getting with this is that whoever I'm talking to is really, okay, you have heightened senses. And I do feel like it's an energy where you're like super connected. No. Your childhood self felt very happy, I think, in who you are, as far as like like, I feel like you were just kind of like happy with how you looked, maybe, or like the things that you did as your own thing. And maybe, okay, so I feel like whoever I'm talking to, it's almost like you need a feeling of being connected. You need a feeling of acceptance in yourself again. It's like, I feel like the message is almost like you're so critical of yourself currently, or at least maybe you have been. It's like, I feel like you're very, very, maybe you're a perfectionist, because whoever you are, it's like you expect so much out of yourself. And I feel like ever since you started like feeling more unsure of why you're experiencing certain anxieties, like at work, I think someone has anxiety happening at work, and I don't know that you know exactly why. It's just like you keep reacting, and I think that has to do with it's like it's almost like you see yourself less because of that. And I feel like it's kind of made you feel less. This is the thing, whoever I'm talking to, I feel like you're very self-aware as a whole. Like, that's just kind of a part of your way. That's what it seems like. So I think that when you felt for some reason that in the past, I feel like when you felt for some reason that you were not accepted by, it feels, this could be wrong, it could be anybody that was around you, but I feel like in the past you really wanted and felt worthy of like a masculine type of acceptance. You could be male or female, does not matter about the energy coming in. And I feel like you actually were very, very emotionally, you really looked up to whoever this is in the past, but I feel like you didn't get certain acceptance that you really thought you would get. Like, I feel like you didn't really understand why. You were like, why? What's wrong with me? That's what it feels like. And I almost feel like, but you came out of it well adjusted. This could be like a childhood experience, like wave, or it could easily be adult connections. Like one of the first things, I just keep thinking about work. So I don't know who that applies to, but I just keep feeling like certain points throughout your either childhood and then adulthood, there's like two different feelings here. It's like masculine acceptance just didn't seem to be where you would expect it to be, like where it would make sense, you know? Because I do feel like it's unjust. The acceptance that you needed, I feel like it wasn't justified. And I do think that whoever I'm talking to, underneath, like way back, like under all of the stuff, that you do, and I think expect out of yourself, I feel like there's such a capacity for like connecting. Like I feel like you super deeply connect when you connect, and it's like very emotional person that I'm talking to. And I am not one of those people that like thinks that, I don't mean you're too emotional or like you cry at everything. I actually think that whoever I'm talking to, you might actually just wall it up in front of other people. But way deep down, it's like there is so much that a lot of people, I don't think that other people get to see. Okay, so I feel like going forward, this is a moment for someone that you're actually really, really, I think whoever I'm talking to is going through this inner healing stuff, and it seems like you're turning inward with your unjust feelings, unjust observations at what you went through, like in the past. It feels like it's turned inward, where you're like so overwhelmed by all of the work you have to do and all of the stuff you have to clear out that it's almost like you're judging yourself. Like, oh, this is a mess that I am. And I feel like you also, this is crazy because it's not crazy, but it feels crazy. I know that. It's like whoever I'm talking to, you have this need all the way underneath to have integrity in like what you do. That might be why you have sought masculine acceptance just by being you and getting like, I don't know, it's almost like overlooked is kind of like what you received instead of like, I see you, I feel like whatever it is, and it doesn't have to be any particular person. It just feels like kind of certain encounters you had where you were like kind of thrown off guard, like, what? But I looked up to you, And then, so I feel like you came out of it as someone who's kind of like wears an armor, but it's an armor because you just don't expect acceptance. And I feel like there's like a moment that you really were thinking, maybe even going in a professional sense, or it could like be like an academic thing or something, like trying to get the next thing. I do feel like there's that energy here. Like someone is putting off their own needs, their own inner knowing to learn something else. Like, oh, that's interesting. I'm really interested in that. I'm going to learn about that. Oh, I can fill that in. I can get a book on that. I can get a book on that. Like, I just feel like you're just like someone who's like, that was an interesting thing that somebody said. I want to look that up. And very awesome to be seeking knowledge. Like, how is that not cool? But it's like, it feels like one of those things that's like kind of distracting. And I think that might be a way that some of you, not all of you, this is cool. It's like some of you, the way you deal with all that stuff I just said, it's like you deal with all of the anxiety almost by just action, because you're like, well, take action. So I feel, okay, that's interesting, because I feel like it's almost a distraction from action, and I don't even know what that means. But I do feel like one of the first things I'm getting is that you, whoever I'm talking to, it's like you need to reconnect, reground yourself and feel solid and grateful that you are who you are. Because I feel like you used to see that, like at some point, whoever you are, you used to you knew who you were. And I feel like when we like are aligned with ourselves, that's finding value in ourselves, because we literally were like, oh yeah, that lights me up, or that just makes me stable. And I feel like whoever you are, you really did embrace life. And so not getting that correct type of or maybe like just not being seen as what you actually were, it seems to have like kind of led you away from the things that made you feel. And that's why it's like, I almost feel like some of you really need to just feel in. You can do that with breathing stuff. You can like literally just breathe through the fact, make a conscious effort. Just like when you make a conscious effort to like sit up straighter, it's like, yeah, you might slip out of it throughout the day, but just go again, just try again. That teeny weeny little bit of like breathing and then being like, I have everything I need to handle anything my body's experiencing. That's like what I feel like some of you need. You need that grounding feeling of being solid, that you are able to handle whatever's going on. So back to this like self-critical thing, it's like that it's like there's an integrity thing. It's like you really need to feel right about the next actions that you take. I feel like a lot of who I'm talking to, you do kind of look at 1,000 options and then you're like that one, and then you're sure and you go. So I feel like this whole judging yourself thing, this inner critical, it's almost like that's a reaction to not being accepted, to not being accepted outwardly, from what you could see at least. Because that perception of yourself, it's like you turned that inward and almost don't accept what you have become, like how you happen to be, like, well, you should have been a different way. Even if you don't believe, even if you consciously know that's not right, which is the cool thing. It's like, that's what the message is. It is that you can take that. And I keep feeling like I should say, action is the antidote to despair. I think Lisa Nichols said that. I hope I'm saying her name right. I hope it's the right woman. Okay. But that's what that moment is. It's like, I feel like that integrity that you have, and that knowing that you already know that you deserved and were worthy of the acceptance outside. Like all the way deep down in there, you do know that, because you did feel acceptance before. I feel like you accepted yourself once for a while, and that you just got, okay, so this turning inward, it's like there's also this part of not trusting inward. Like almost like you're not trusting of the vehicle that you've got now. Like, well, this is the outcome, stuck with it. And I feel like that's where the action part, and some of you, I feel like you're like, I feel like some people, not all of you, this is a slight feeling I'm feeling. It's like there's a shamed in there at not being able to maybe compose all of the stuff that goes on. And I think some of you are going through a really serious like emotional transition because you are carrying so much. So it's like when you're going inside of yourself, like this is one of those times that you have to be your own best friend. Like for some of you, I feel like you need to recognize that, like, not only is it unfair what you've been through, but like you really need to give yourself some credit that like, and remember how at peace you felt with who you were and with outward perspective. You used to like be excited about the world around you, and I feel like things really bogged down on top of some of you. Okay, so going forward, it's like some of you, I feel like, had really cool, this is like what the wave feels like. It's almost like, sorry, I keep saying that word. I feel like you have resources around you that are actually, it's like that masculine coming in. This is the next part of the reading. This is the movement forward. So it feels like right now you're stepping forward, because this feels like a message about how to get control, and also cut yourself a break for not having control. You have to do that. Like if you're going to get control, it can't be because damn it, you should have already had it by now. Like, that's not the way forward. Light makes light. Like, don't hit your own light with your dark. That's not fair. So, and that's what it feels like. Going forward, the only thing that's going to hold you back is you. Like, that's the message. I feel that you have outside resources. And I think whoever I'm talking to, it's almost like you have this feeling of, I'm all on my own. Some of you, definitely not all of you. But it's almost like you have a feeling of being all on your own and carrying what they want you to do. It's like stepping forward out of not just healing. Like, you do have to continue the healing process, like, as things come up. But this whole thing, it's like they want you to see your own light. That's all I can see. It's like they want you, the message going forward, the movement is, this has happened to you, this has happened to you. You kind of had to put up your barriers because you knew that things unjustified would be outside of them. It's like these outside resources that you know work for you or that have healed you or gotten you through. And that's going to be different for everybody. That could be like looking at your horoscope. That could be just like trusting that I've got to do this every day, and or reading the Bible, or like some of you just listening to music. Whatever it is that makes you feel your own, like whatever it is that makes you feel understood. That's gold here. It's like that's a gift. So when those resources are outside of you, sometimes it's like it feels like not accepting inside, not accepting yourself because of things externally. It feels like they want you to be able to hear when the good stuff's there, though. Like it's like they don't want you to feel undeserving just because you're not used to that feeling anymore. It's like remembering that feeling is going to be experiencing it. Because, so the thing with going forward, I feel like when you come out of this transition and this frictional, it's like frictional, I don't know, what's the word? Turbulence. It feels like turbulence. Like I feel like it's like, just kind of bracing for impact kind of all the time because there's been a lot of impact. And so I think that that's like inside stuff too. Like they really don't, it feels like going forward, the shielding off that like you've been doing with your own self and in and at yourself and for yourself and everything. It's like going forward, you're going to come out of it like an uprise, and then you're going to feel stronger and more protected. It's like you're not only going to feel like, okay, like your self-worth again is there. That's not all you get, is to like remember how happy you were to feel connected with life outside, like with the world, whoever I'm talking to. Like you really had high hopes. Like you had high hopes for things. And all of the things that went wrong, I feel like, have really punished you internally. You have been, this is not all of you, but some of you like have punished yourself. And I feel like that's something someone needs to hear. A lot of times when we carry a lot of when we do that, when we self-judge and stuff, it's like, this is a word I'm feeling I need to say. Guilt. Like when you carry guilt, it can become a shield to all the good because you forget the good in you because guilt is so distracting. So it's like going forward, I do feel like that integrity you have, that's the cool thing. Your strength going forward is your integrity. Like, don't waste any more time judging yourself. Just know what's right, and know that even if they didn't see it right, that you can fully walk and grow through this, and like you can become something that you wanted to become. Because I do feel like a lot of, and this feels like there's a lot of opposition around some of you. And that is something that you don't need to fight it. You just need to go through your thing, follow your own path. Doesn't matter the speed, you just keep following it. There is no race here. And that's cool. And then, so the end, like outcome, isn't an end. It's you actually with a new beginning. It's like this new strengthened, look at what matters to me. That's all I carry. That's all I care about, and that's all I carry. I feel like going forward, you may go through periods of time that feel like this, but every time, this is cool. This is why I know I talk to awakened people, like people who either use your gifts already or you're just like using it to heal yourself. That's always like, you probably don't even know you use it for other people. Okay, if you're in that period. So like this whole thing feels like it's a phase, it's a healing, and it does feel like it's a transition up. It feels like going forward, you're going to transition up. And this is something after a lot of trials. This feels like a very well-earned and well-deserved feeling of self-acceptance, accomplishment, self-respect. Like that is what you get to step into. But I feel like the message there is to step into it and learn that that's the new you. Like you get to step into that because of what you have done to get there. And even if that's not at this exact moment because you're still going through stuff, because that's what it feels like, kind of like a forward thing. That whole openness and excitement about the world, that is what you want to remember. So when they're saying like you have outside resources, it's all the way back to the beginning where it's like, but you thought the good would be there. Like you thought everybody would be as excited as you were about whatever it was, or that they would accept you for whatever it was that excited you, or for like just who you truly were. So whatever makes you feel is like, whatever makes you feel solid or good or grounded. It's like there's music for a lot of you. And I know that there are people, I feel like, because some of you shield off so much that like even when good people are kind of coming at you, it's almost like you're like, well, I don't even have any time to know if that's trustworthy. And so I feel like they just want you to kind of open your view a little bit, because you do have that want to do the right thing. That's what it feels really cool with who you truly are. But the thing is, whatever you're feeling may not feel that cool. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope that's helpful. I really hope that's helpful. I hope that, and if this resonates, definitely let me know. I also want you to know that I haven't responded to everything. I'm going to try to actually get better at that. But like, I feel like all of these comments, like they're brilliant. You guys say things that like, you humans, I don't know. A lot of what you say when you talk about things resonating, like it blows my mind, because you word things in such a cool way. I just think that's really exciting. I'm really grateful that that's like who's talking. I think that's so cool. Okay. So thank you for that. Thank you for communicating with me. And, I do love doing the personal readings. So if you are ever interested in that, you can email me and see if that's something that you'd be interested in doing, or if you feel the need to, especially if you're like feeling ability stuff. Okay, so have a good rest of your night, and I will see you in the next reading.